Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 282. We got some huge update about Tesla's Optimus robot, and Tesla is really starting to set some new sales record around the world as the Model Y inventory is filling up. And we are hearing from even the Germans that they are worried about the survival of the German auto industry. And even in China, the EV industry might not be as rosy as it seems. And Xiaomi's CEO is telling waiting customers to get a Tesla Model Y. And the Tesla Model 3 has been named the safest new car on sale in 2025. And Tesla is already updating the robotaxi experience. And Tesla just opened a new huge supercharging station running solely on sunshine and off the grid. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
We have got some more Optimus robot news this week than we have gotten in a long time, but this is not official, but from people that have talked with suppliers, so take it with a grain of salt. But as the Humanoid Hub wrote on X, Tesla has paused Optimus production to revise its design. The redesign could take around 2 months, according to China's outlet Late Post Auto. Musk's mass production goal for this year is basically out of reach. According to sources in China's supply chain, Tesla is making focused adjustment to hardware and software design of its humanoid robot Optimus and paused component procurement for the robot about 2 weeks ago. 2 suppliers confirmed that Tesla has not explicitly cancelled components order but will only confirm a new mass production schedule and resume procurement after the design revision is complete. The redesign could take around 2 months. As of the end of May, Tesla has purchased enough parts to build 1,200 Optimus units and had produced nearly 1,000. Musk previously promised to produce 5,000 units this year. Well, no, that is not correct. He said that Tesla might get to 5,000 units this year, so that is not a promise, just to be clear, but as they continue. With the halt in component procurement, both sources believe the goal is now unlikely to be achieved. This adjustment started in the early June with the departure of Milan Kovac, the original head of the Optimus project. According to one supplier, Tesla's VP of AI software, Ashok Alswamy, has taken over the Optimus program and want to improve the design before ramping up production, which I just wanted to add is a very good idea, but I'll get back to that later. According to Tesla's feedback to suppliers, Optimus still faces several hardware issues: overheating joint motors, low payload capacity for the exterior hands, short transmission lifespan, and limited battery life. Tesla is still testing samples for multiple exterior hand suppliers, trying at least 3 different technical approaches. One Tesla insider stated that currently Optimus is only moving batteries in the Tesla battery workshop at less than half the efficiency of a human worker and has yet to perform more complex vehicle assembly tasks. Tesla has been developing robot hardware with hundreds of supply chain partners for 3 years, creating a full humanoid robot supply chain, which is the most important thing. But the Optimus R&D team exceeded 400 members by the end of last year at a cost of around $60,000 per unit. Tesla components expenses for Optimus this year alone were expected to surpass $300 million. None of the suppliers we spoke with had questioned Musk's mass production plan until now. At the beginning, we were hesitant, said a senior executive from Tesla supplier. If you don't believe in it but others do, the opportunity is theirs. You not only have to believe, but believe earlier than others. One of the earlier supply chain sources added that Tesla may debut Optimus Gen 3 at this year's shareholder meeting. Oh, that would be very cool if that happens. Can't wait to learn more. But this is not a bad thing that Tesla is taking its time to get the hardware just right before before they start any meaningful volume production. Because this is basically what it all comes down to, in my opinion. Just like Elon said back in the days about the car business, that eventually everyone will have affordable EVs and eventually everyone will have autonomy, but not everyone is going to be good at manufacturing. And I think it will be the same with humanoid robot. Eventually we will have AGI, and then the robots can become even smarter than us. So the brain is very important, but eventually everyone will have it. And it will probably be ready before the perfect humanoid robot body will, with the rate of improvement we are seeing with AI at the moment. So getting the hardware just right so that it's easy to produce and have a complex supply chain ready when they go to high volume, I think is the most important thing in the long run. And if they are a couple of months late, it really does not matter long term. But of course, some so-called journalists tried to make it sound like Tesla's Optimus program was collapsing. So Sawyer shared Fred Lambert's article from Electric and wrote, Tesla's Optimus program is not in shambles. Yes, this was of course Fred's only conclusion of this news. But even Tesla tuned in with their Optimus account and wrote, electric journalism is in shambles. Oh, snap. Yes, indeed. Getting trolled by Tesla themselves is probably not going to make Electric's next article about Tesla any more positive. But a lot of things are going on at the Optimus workshop, and I hope we will soon get a little sneak peek of their progress once again. Tesla is starting to set new sales records around the world as the Model Y inventory is filling up. So the trend of Tesla rising is basically the same all over the world except in Germany, but we will get back to that in a second. But firstly, let's just take a look at Japan, as Roland reported the numbers from there. For Japan, estimated 1,400 units of Tesla sales and 0.6% market share in June. BEV penetration is 2%, so Japan still has a long way to go, but that also votes well as a BEV maker in the next few years, as BEVs will take off in Japan, as it seems like they might be waking up, and Tesla has 33% of this BEV segment. Market share is 31 basis point or 92% above the 3 months trailing average of 0.3%, and it was the best month ever, up 13% versus second best months, up 85% versus June last year, best months ever, best quarter ever, year to date up 67% over the same period last year. So in Japan we don't see any demand issue whatsoever. Tesla is actually doing better than they have ever done before, growing with the Japanese BEV market. And in Europe, Tesla is also doing great. We have just ended the quarter and the month of June, so we don't have all the data, so just keep that in mind. But from the countries we do have the data, from 10 countries here in Europe, Tesla is absolutely dominating in June. Model Y is by far the best-selling BEV. Second is the Tesla Model 3, and Tesla is by far the best-selling BEV brand in these 10 countries. But one important country is missing from this data, and that is of course Germany. And that is because their data is about 1 month late. So we do have their data for May, but they are still missing from June numbers. So Tesla's numbers have been very small in Germany all year, but Volkswagen will probably add another 10,000 units to their BEV units as they have had in both May and April numbers from Germany. But even if Volkswagen get another 10,000 units, it really does seem like Tesla will be the best-selling BEV brand in Europe in June. And it's not so important if they're number 2 or number 3 or whatever, but the important thing is that Tesla is growing again as we have predicted, as inventory is filling up again with the Model Y. So it will be very interesting to see how Tesla does in Germany going forward, because they have not really have any successful months so far in 2025, but most of the production has probably also been used for export. But June is normally one of the bigger months in the first half of the year. But just keep in mind that Germany has always been Tesla's weakest market in Europe. Last year in June, Tesla only sold about 4,600 units, presence in that big market, and that was one of the biggest months in the first half of 2024. So to get some perspective of just how small the numbers is, in my little tiny country of Denmark, with less than 6 million people, compared to Germany's over 83 million people, Tesla sold 3,300 units. So Germany is actually one of Tesla's weakest markets in Europe, when we know Germany is the biggest car market in Europe. But that is nothing new, so just wanted everybody to know that. But apparently Tesla sold just under 2,000 units in June in Germany, according to Roland. So that is still a very weak number for Tesla, even in Germany. We have to get back to 2020 to see worse numbers than this in Germany. But just so people don't freak out and think Tesla is dying because they're not doing well in Germany. Well, as you can see on this chart from Roland as well, Germany is only like 2.2% of Tesla's global sales. The US and China is where it is at. But still, we definitely need to keep an eye on Germany, as pretty much everywhere else it seems like Tesla is getting back on track, as I have shown in other news shows with Norway and Spain and UK, Japan, Turkey, Netherlands and so many more. And we are hearing from even the Germans that they are worried about the survival of the German auto industry. As Stecker Auto shared on X, a view of Germany. Germans are, unsurprisingly, very critical car customers. Everyone has an opinion. We are, after all, Autoland. And the mood among users on the automobile Reddit thread is critical and predominantly negative regarding the direction of the German automotive industry, particularly Mercedes-Benz. Users heavily criticize Mercedes' strategic pivot away from the taxi market to focus solely on the premium segment. This move is widely viewed as a significant misstep for the German automotive sector and a self-inflicted wound. Many question the long-term viability of this strategy, especially considering potential instability in the Chinese market. There is strong sentiment that Mercedes is losing its relevance with doubt cast on its premium claim due to the perceived declines in quality and interior design that some describe as ostentatious rather than classically luxurious. Concerns about the overall quality of Mercedes cars are prevalent, with users pointing to the increasing use of plastic and flashy ambient light over traditional design and build quality. This discussion also highlights the stark contrast between the questionable reliability of some of Germany's luxury cars and the outstanding reliability of brands like Toyota, often citing the durability of models like the Prius. Some users recall Mercedes' past success with more diversified product range and fear that the current exclusive focus on luxury will lead to eventually failure, mirroring the past issue faced by other luxury car makers. Yes, I have personally been into all of the big Mercedes EVs and BMWs, and I think Mercedes feels like they're just trying too hard. And yes, the cockpit is filled with plastic everywhere. Even that nasty piano black plastic that only looks good the day you pick it up. Something that Tesla got rid of many years ago. So sitting inside a Mercedes EQS was not the luxurious feeling that I had hoped for. Everything was squirky and cheap plastic. And even with the big screen over the whole front, it was still covered in plastic, making even the big screen feel a little cheap. BMW had made similar mistakes, in my opinion, with making them too tacky and bling bling with the fake plastic diamond knob and so on. So not my cup of tea anyway, but I personally still think that BMW has managed to keep their BEVs feel like a BMW, whereas Mercedes feel like they are trying too hard and kind of makes them feel like what you would expect from the Chinese brand. But at the moment, the Chinese are just doing it better than Mercedes. So like I have been saying for a long time, the German auto industry is in trouble and is currently being hit from all sides with tariffs from the US, losing China and the Chinese coming to Europe. But let's see what will happen. I think the second half of this year could really start showing some of the huge cracks in the German auto industry's foundation. But not everything in China is as rosy as it might seem about the EV industry. I have reported on it before that the Chinese auto industry might be in trouble and BYD's numbers might not be as good as it seems, but Alex wrote a nice summary of the whole thing, so I thought I would share it here in this news show. BYD is the Evergrande of the auto industry. According to data provider Marklines, BYD had a stockpile of more than 340,000 unsold cars at the end of May, and that number has likely grown in June. At the same time, figures from Chinese Dealer Association showed the BYD dealership had such large inventories that they would last for more than 3 months. According to Chinese media report, a BYD dealer in Shandong province closed more than 20 branches, as I also reported on before. Last week, Reuters and other news agencies reported that BYD had cut production at several plants, reducing shift and halted the commissioning of new production lines. Some analysts suspect that the group is more heavily indebted than it appears at first glance, partly because BYD is accumulating ever higher liability with suppliers despite the extremely late payment terms that BYD face on them. The payment term allow BYD to pay by industry standards extremely late and keep their cash flow running. Some analysts claims that if BYD had to pay supplier like the rest of the industry, they would go bankrupt. Vehicle sales appear to be inflated by vehicles that never were driven or even counted twice. The business practices the company seems to get away with in China won't work for the rest of the world. Altogether, it can be said the company is in deep trouble and may start to shrink or depend on the Chinese government to stay afloat. BYD is now being called the Evergrande of the auto industry and is too big to fail, as it would create a systematic risk for the entire Chinese auto industry. Yes, we might see some difficulties for BYD coming to other places and doing manufacture, as we have already seen in Brazil. Brazilian authority halted construction of BYD's electric vehicle plant in December 2024 after finding 163 Chinese workers in slave-like conditions. BYD faced a lawsuit in May 2025 for human trafficking and labor violations. The plant, meant to be BYD's first EV factory outside Asia, was delayed but is now expected to be fully operational by December 2026. But a good showcase that BYD practices might not be something that you can do outside China, so they have to straighten things up if they should ever hope to have any factories running in Europe or elsewhere. So let's see how this will play out, but we are starting to see some more and more cracks in BYD's facade. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Xiaomi's CEO tells buyers waiting for the YU7 in a new interview, if you're in urgent need of a car, the Tesla Model Y is also worth considering. Wow, only a very confident CEO would say something like that about the competitors. Not exactly the praise we have heard from someone like Mary Barra, is it? But Xiaomi is also already selling more EVs than GM. But as I've said many times since the Xiaomi came out with the SU7, this is a company we need to keep an eye on, as they are showing growth in the EV sales and production we have never seen before. Very, very impressive. But nice to hear if the CEO should recommend another car to the YU7, it would be the Tesla Model Y. And Tesla Rati also wrote, "It's crazy, I'm just not seeing all the negative headlines about Ford's 31.4% drop in EV sales year over year, or Rivian's 22.7% drop in sales year over year. No, funny how they only write these kinds of headlines for Tesla." And Trump is going to sign his big beautiful bill, so that means no more EV tax credit, but also means no more solar credit. So that will terminate the 30% tax credit for rooftop solar on December 31st, 2025. So if you're thinking about getting solar on your home, now is the time, as homeowners may only qualify if they start construction within the next 60 days and have the system installed by the end of the year. So if you're looking for solar for your home, check out my link below to Power. That is one of the top solar installer in the US that helps empower everyone to be part of the clean energy revolution. So click the link down below before you lose your 30% tax credit. And surprise, surprise, the Tesla Model 3 has been named the safest new car on sales in 2025, according to the latest result from the European NCAP. Among 20 newly tested vehicles, the Tesla Model 3 emerged at the top of the list, scoring an impressive 359 out of 400 possible points across all major safety categories. You would have expected that the legacy automakers would have caught up in safety by now, but Tesla is still the only one that cares enough about safety to make it their number one priority and go that extra mile. The others won't do it if it costs them profits. And Tesla has already made their first update to their Robotaxi app. You can now adjust the pickup location. The app will also now display the remaining wait time at pickup in the app and live activity, design improvement and bug fixes and stability improvement as well. Nice. And Nick has also now taken over 30 rides in the Tesla Robotaxi and has also shown that it does work in rain, as he wrote. Tesla Robotaxi operate with zero issues in the rain. Just got caught in another thunderstorm today. Another incredible performance. And as Tesla also wrote to one of Nick's posts about the heavy rain, Tesla Robotaxi account wrote on X, "No rain check needed." Nice. And we have some nice new features rolling out for the summer holiday. As Tesla wrote, site arrival improvement rolling out now. Icons indicating valid only or pay to park. Notification for pay to park, parking floor and access code. All details easily accessible in the site card. Nice. And Tesla just opened a new huge supercharger station, as Tesla wrote on X, with 168 stalls, 11 megawatt of solar, 10 Tesla Megapack constructed in 8 months in Lost Hill, California. 84 stalls now open, solely powered by the sun and operating off-grid. Remaining stalls and launch coming later this year, save 4th of July travels. So very, very cool, as Max also wrote. Solar plus storage will be the majority of meeting growing energy needs. The sun is a reliable giant fusion reactor, and we just need to catch a minuscule amount of it. The largest superchargers in the world will be powered by the sun. Yes, exactly. And having this huge supercharger station running solely on sun and operating off the grid is just amazing and a good showcase of how all the EVs don't hurt our grid, but could end up helping the grid, as don't forget it also takes a lot of electricity just to refine crude oil, which we will not need as much of in the future. As of 2023 numbers, a rough guess is that the US uses just under 1,000 megawatt hours of electricity a year on refining crude oil. So something like 20 to 25% of the entire US electricity consumption is just refining crude oil. So people tend to forget all these things that will not be needed in the future when we get to a fully renewable economy. And also seems to forget that everyone with a house will charge during the night, so not hurting the grid during the day, and big charging stations like this one will not even be connected to the grid. This is a huge achievement for Tesla, showing the way for others to follow. And Tesla made a nice little video and wrote, "Full self-driving supervised, give you back time and energy, all while making the road safer for you and others."
I do my espresso while I'm driving.
This is the best I've seen you drive.
Aren't I a good driver?
This is like a 10. This is like a 10. Oh my God. It's like myself.
Ready for this car to go?
Oh.
I love when I'm doing a mistake. I'll talk to you later, okay? Oh my God, Dad. Oh my God, Dad. Dad.
I had driving anxiety. I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to do. You're able to take in everything around you and kind of enjoy the ride without getting so mentally stressed, mentally fatigued by focusing on, oh, what's that car going to do? This car, because we have all these cameras watching exactly what's going on.
Long road trips, no problem. It literally is a hands-free experience.
What is happening right now?
Nice. And now it's just a question of getting the approval to Europe. because we want it so badly. And Tesla teased yet another supervised full self-driving video, this time from Madrid. So Tesla is showing that this software works absolutely everywhere. We are really just waiting for regulatory approval. And that cannot come fast enough, as Alex also pointed out. Full self-driving supervised works perfectly in Europe because it's safer than humans. Ridiculous and literally a crime that regulators still block it. Whether you call it lobbying or corruption, there is not a single sensible, fact-based reason why it's not yet permitted in Europe. Exactly. And if you are in doubt about how much safer it really is, James have you covered with one of his very nice charts showing exactly that. And Teslarati also shared this video of some more crazy Chinese people testing the hell out of the full self-driving system. As they wrote, to be fair, when Tesla drivers in China says full self-driving testing, they mean putting full self-driving through places like this. Just insane, but also such a good showcase of what Tesla's system is able to do. Something that Waymo can never do, but that doesn't really matter much, as no private person can even buy a Waymo and test it out. But Tesla's full self-driving system appeared to be quietly winning over drivers in China, although its rollout in February 2025 has not been followed up by additional notable updates. Recent accounts from local drivers suggest that Tesla's approach to full self-driving might be outperforming its rival on China roads. Even more interestingly, the driver emphasized that despite frequent uses, there has been zero safety intervention since full self-driving was enabled in the vehicle 2 months ago. Nice. And SpaceX did their 29th landing of a single booster. Remember, 10 years ago when they did their first landing, or in 2018 when they did their heavy booster double landing, that was absolutely mind-blowing. And now, well, it's just another Wednesday. And the others are still trying to figure this out. And I have reported on both Ford and GM's EV sales in the other news shows, but just to make sure everyone still gets who is leading the way. Because, you know, there have been people that have been very misguided before.
You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led. And it matters.
Well, EVs sold in the US in Q2 2025, well, Tesla is leading the way, even though they're down 9%, with 151,000 units sold. GM is up 111%, yes, but they only sold 46,000 units. And Ford is down 31%, but only sold 16,000 units. So Tesla is still multiple times bigger than any of them. So all their promises about catching up to Tesla don't really seem to be coming true. And for Ford to get to their target of 2 million EVs sold in 2026, well, let's just say they are going to fall a little short of that target. Remember these headlines? Ford plans to produce 2 million EVs annually, generating 10% operating profit by 2026. And if they are lucky, they will just sell above 100,000 units this year. Where are all the headlines about this target miss and how Ford never delivers on their EV promises? We only hear about it when it's Tesla that is late on things, and then Elon is a liar and a fraud. But when it's Ford, we hear nothing but crickets. And Alex shared that the German CAM Institute ranked Volkswagen Group as the most innovative auto company in the world, and Tesla is ranked at number 15. Oh my god, I seriously laughing my ass off. Volkswagen impresses with its broad range of innovative achievement at high technical levels. It's unbelievable how so-called experts repeatedly fail to recognize the obvious. Okay, let me just give you some example here of Volkswagen's great software, as Alex also shared on X. A friend of mine just told me that his Volkswagen BEV does crazy things when he pressed the 2 buttons to lower the front seat windows. In short, anything can happen from the window opening while the others closes halfway to anything else you can imagine. Yeah, that sounds like the well-deserved winner of the most innovative auto company. What a joke. And another person I wish was joking was Jim Farley. Not only did he think Waymo's technology is the way to go, but he doesn't think that AI can substitute good human driving. oh boy, he is really not getting what is coming, or he is just talking BS to cover over how far behind Ford is in this race. As we can also see in this article, after Tesla has launched robotaxis and has shown that Tesla cars can basically drive everywhere in the world with full self-driving supervised, Ford's cars can now make a lane change. Wow! What an insanely good system Ford got there. It can change a lane on the highway. Oh, I'm blown away. Yes, it seems like Ford is less and less likely to get off this transition to EVs and autonomy with its life intact. Maybe Tesla will end up being the only US car company that has never gone bankrupt. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this channel. My new YouTube member, Mark Sangetti, and my two new Patreon producers, Andrew Gralla and Mike Anderson. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. Why is it just so funny giving other people a little scare?
Hi.
Gotcha.
What? How?
That is all we have time for in this news show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.